Our next speaker has dedicated her life to studying and protecting marine mammals in Malaysia. She co-founded the Marisat Research Organization, the country's only NGO focused on marine mammals. You see, her great-great-grandfather, Tycoon Leong Chun Chong, built the Leaning Tower of Teluk Intan in 1885. While she herself, in her own way, is building pathways for a new generation of Malaysians in marine science and conservation. She aspires to see a Malaysia committed to biodiversity and environmental sustainability where people and nature can thrive together. Here to share her journey of swimming into a zone many thought too risky and pointless, let's welcome our very own aqua woman, Dr. Louisa Ponnampalam.
Thank you, Edmund. Good afternoon, everyone. So from small, tiny particles, we will talk about large living organisms. What's going on in this photograph here? Well, I think this octopus was basically being hunted by this Indo-Pacific humpback dolphin. And it decided that to avoid being eaten, it would take the risk and climb onto its predator's body and cling onto it so that there was no way that this dolphin could get to it, right? So risk is everywhere, even octopuses take risk. I would like you to meet some spectacular Malaysians, my study subjects. All photographs that you see of marine mammals in this presentation were all taken in Malaysia. I'm almost 43. I turned 43 in December. I've been studying marine mammals, in particular dolphins, for 21 years now. Yeah, thank you. But I actually only saw my very first live dolphin when I was 18 years old. But it was at 13 that I fell completely and obsessively in love with dolphins for a reason that I don't know why. But I fell in love with the sea even before that, in my early childhood, from many school holidays spent in Terengganu by the seaside. I was 10 when I told my mom that I want to be a marine biologist. And she just looked at me and said, okay, but I still remember she was probably thinking, what is that? So this love affair goes back a really long way. This is my scrapbook I kept as a teenager in the 90s and into the early 2000s. I was so obsessed with marine life that I would keep articles of anything marine life into this scrapbook. And it was even during that time that I already noticed, I saw pictures of dolphins being entangled in fishing nets. I remember a picture of a leatherback turtle stranded on the beach with a plastic bag in its mouth. And I recall feeling anxious and feeling like I want to do something to protect these animals. And I said to myself, someday when I grow up, that's what I want to do. Some of you may remember these posters from the 90s. A lot of my classmates and schoolmates had posters like that plastered on their room walls and on their school desks. I still remember the day when Take That broke up. There were girls in school crying. But I didn't care about any of that because on my room walls and on my desk at school, I had literally these photographs ripped out from the calendars of the previous year, and I had them stuck on my table. Baria's my schoolmate. She's here in the audience, and she can attest to that. So a lot of people thought I was a bit crazy, like, what's with this girl sticking dolphins all over the place? And when I told my classmates that someday I'm going to be a dolphin researcher, they laughed at me and just thought, what? What is that? It was during this time in the 90s that I was trying to find more information about dolphins in Malaysia, and I couldn't find anything. And I thought to myself, maybe there's a niche that I can fill. Because if we don't have information, how can we know what to do for them? But there were no opportunities back then for me to experience whether this was a passing phase or if this was something I really wanted to do. Anyway, I went with my gut feeling, and I managed to go abroad. And I always said that I would want to go abroad to get trained because there didn't seem to be opportunities here back then. And then I want to bring all that skill set back and start something of my own to help build marine mammal science and conservation in the country. My parents were nervous that I was going down this path, but they supported me fully, and I was able to go to Hawaii to get my undergraduate degree, and then I went on to study spinner dolphins in the Arabian Sea in Oman for my PhD. This is me, fresh off of my PhD on a research expedition in the South China Sea. This was the moment, was like, this is it. I'm finally qualified. I'm back in Malaysia. I can finally roll out this long-time plan that I've had to become this dolphin scientist and study dolphins for the rest of my life and protect them in Malaysia. But what I didn't know was that there were people who actually thought that this was a stupid idea. There were actually learned people who said to me, you should just keep this dolphin watching thing as an annual hobby. You should go and do proper science. And I was taken aback at first, and of course hurt and offended. And I almost gave in to that belief that, oh, this is maybe not the right thing to do, because they thought, are there even dolphins in Malaysia for you to study? But of course, I didn't listen to them. I said, I've given too much of my life up to this point to stop now. And so I didn't. And a little while after that, I met this chap here. His name is Fairul, and we got to work on a project together. And we realized that we both had the same interest for marine mammals, and we both had the same mission to develop this work here in Malaysia. So together, we established Mariset in 2012. And again, people laughed at us. They thought, are there even whales and dolphins for you to protect? How are you going to get this funded? You're going to shut down in 6 months. You might as well just join the larger NGOs that are already out there. But we were determined to do our own thing and carve our own path. And we really started with nothing. We needed money to open our bank account, and we didn't have money. So what did we do? Over 6 months, we collected people's unwanted items. I collected so much stuff that my mom even threatened to throw me out of the house. She said, please get this out of here now. Over 3 days, we ran a jumble sale, and we raised 5,000 ringgit, which is about $1,200, and we used that as our seed funding to start our operations and to open our bank account. So we really started small and went from there. One of the earliest stumbling blocks of doing this work is that the level of awareness was very low here. Lots of people didn't know that there are marine mammals in our country. So of course, if people don't know, how can they relate to it? How can they empathize, and how can they care? So we decided that never mind the big environmental problems that are out there, but this is so fundamental. We needed to tell people that we have marine mammals in the country. We often get asked these questions, even till today, but at a much lesser extent. So to help answer some of these questions, I want to show you. Are there whales and dolphins in Malaysia? This is not Bali, this is not Tahiti, this is not Hawaii. This is right here in Johor. These are pantropical spotted dolphins living their best lives. And they share this habitat with other species of marine mammals along our Malaysian coastline. What about these guys? These guys are whales. They're called Bruder's whales or Eden's whales. This is in Kedah. And I tell you, they are just as Malaysian as you and I. Why? I don't know if you can see from where you are, but what they're eating actually is ikan bilis. They're eating anchovies, right? Malaysians love ikan bilis. These guys love ikan bilis. Ikan bilis, the quintessential ingredient in so many of our Malaysian cuisine, right? One of the most important ingredients in our beloved nasi lemak, okay? So they're just as Malaysian as me, as you, and they live right here. This beautiful footage that we took in Kedah shows a female whale and her calf feeding on small fish, a sign that our waters can support these large marine megafauna. It's important feeding grounds for them, and it's an important place for them to bring their young, to nurse them, to teach them how to hunt, and to live as a whale or as a dolphin out here. Yeah, we've been studying them since 2019, and for me, it's a dream come true because I always thought I would just study dolphins in Malaysia, and I never thought we'd have the opportunity to study these guys. Anyway, why is this all important? In a study of a global review that I was a part of 2 years ago, we found that 1 in 4 species of cetaceans, whales, dolphins, and porpoises, are threatened with extinction. And when we zoom into on the map, Southeast Asia, including Malaysia, is a global hotspot with the highest extinction risks of these species. And 3 of the most commonly occurring species that are found along our Malaysian coastline have made it into the top 7 list of cetaceans with the highest bycatch extinction risk. So basically, they are endangered and we need to protect them. This is happening here in our waters. This is also happening here in our waters, right? These animals do get caught in fishing gear, illegal or legal. Some make it out alive and some don't. This is also Malaysia. This is happening here. What we do on land impacts marine life and ecosystems out at sea. Whether or not we can see, right, doesn't matter. But we've observed this. We've saved turtles from these debris. We've seen the whales that we study be entangled with ropes that was inhibiting its diving and feeding behavior. So there are issues out there, and one of the things that we do is try to find solutions for them. So why do marine mammals matter? Is it just because I'm biased and because they're cute? No. Marine mammals matter because your seafood matters, okay? The sea can only give us seafood if it's healthy. The sea, the ocean, covers about 70% of our Earth's surface, right? And it produces a lot of the oxygen that we breathe. Again, we don't have to be by the coast, we could be inland, but the sea provides. And the sea provides a lot of food resources and all kinds of ecosystem services. And these animals act as indicators of ocean health, yeah? So if the sea is able to support them, it means that there's still enough resources for us to take as well. And that's why they're important. We use them as mascots for conservation. We use them as indicators. We've been talking to local fishermen, some who tell us that they no longer go fishing because there's no more catch. And actually, coinciding with that, we have been seeing in certain areas lower encounter rates with these dolphins. It's probably a sign that because there isn't much for them to eat, and so they've moved away or they've simply died out. So we need to look into that. How do we study marine mammals? Well, we spend many hours at sea, scouring the sea for signs of life. We look at their distribution, their abundance, their behavior, how they're using the habitat, are there overlaps with human activities. We put in acoustic recorders into the water to record their sounds, to figure out how is underwater noise affecting them. Here's a sample of what a Malaysian dolphin sounds like. I hope I can, oh, sorry. Is it okay if you help me click on just on the sound, please? On that box. So we can record these sounds and we can compare them when they are just by themselves and when there's human activities around and figure out what's going on. We also study what they eat, how they're using their habitat, where they are feeding, what's important for them. Are there areas that we need to protect? Because protecting these areas means protecting our own natural resources as well. We use drones to monitor them from the air to look at their behavior. We attend to cases of stranded animals. We try to ascertain the cause of death. We collect important samples to run tests in the lab to figure out what went wrong. And we do some molecular work in the lab as well to look at genetics, to look at population structure, genetic diversity, to understand if inbreeding could be an issue impacting these animals. We work with local fishermen to put acoustic pingers on nets to help deter dolphins from the nets so that they don't get entangled and die, and fishermen don't get their nets damaged. We run a lot of workshops with local communities, teaching them how to safely disentangle dolphins. We run a lot of workshops as well to train local community members, government agencies, students on how to deal with a stranded marine mammal if they found one on the beach. Yeah, so someone always has to volunteer to be a dolphin. It's always quite fun. Yeah. We have a program called the Sea Science and Schools program where we take kids into schools. We've traveled with our whale truck all over the country to bring the ocean into people's minds and into their hearts. And we share a lot of our research work with government agencies, policymakers, local stakeholders to try and find solutions for coexistence. Essentially, we've established MARISET as a platform to learn together, to explore. I didn't get those opportunities back in the 90s, and I wanted to create a platform as well for young Malaysians to participate in this. Fairul and I started out as two people. We were laughed at. In the early years, we relied really only on volunteers. And over time, our team grew, and it grew a little more, and it pretty much grew. Now this is the size of the team today. So I'm really so proud of how far we've come. Our field sites are now internationally recognized as important marine mammal areas based on all the research we've done. We've had recognition on various platforms. We've been able to bring our work to the international stage. That's me at a plenary in Spain, speaking to about 2,000 people about our work. And I'm here speaking to you at the Khazanah Megatrends Forum, so I'm really grateful for today. And just at the end of last month, we signed a MOU for a strategic partnership with the Malaysian government, the Department of Fisheries, to streamline conservation efforts and research efforts for marine mammals in the country. So it was a huge milestone for us. And I just want to close off quickly by saying, please join us in this mission. Please invest in our collective future. It is important that we keep marine mammals swimming in our seas, because if the ocean dies, we die too. We can't eat money, we can't eat steel, we can't eat plastic. Food comes from the sea, it gives to us, and we need to protect it at all costs. And these animals are indicators of how the sea is doing. So I'll just end, again, coming back to the theme of the forum about risk and uncertainty by saying, just because something is unusual or never been done before, doesn't mean it cannot be done. And just because somebody thinks it's a crazy idea and it's bound to fail, doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Risks and uncertainties are all part of life, so please, where possible, take a chance on the treasure, on the khazanah that is Malaysia. Thank you so much.